everybody, and welcome back. We are here again today with Lenka Schulze and today's class, Deception and Discernment. I just want to remind everybody that this is a recorded webinar, and then we'll also be taking questions and answers using the question and answer function in Zoom. Feel free to ask questions anytime during the class, and then at the appropriate times, those will be answered. And then there's also the live chat in which we'll feed you some information when we need to. And if you have any other comments or would like to share, feel free to use that. And now I'm going to go ahead and introduce Lenka. Hey, Lenka.
Hi. Let's see. Am I in? Hi. Hi, everybody. It's so exciting to see you all. Actually, I don't see you. But today we have a very, very good topic. Definitely we're gonna enter into polarized world, and then I'm gonna try to bring you back up. So originally I was planning on having this class on deception and discernment, but as I was making my notes, the deception was taking a lot of my time. So we most likely gonna go a little bit over time. And if you have to run earlier, that's fine. We're gonna have it taped. We'll send you the link via email again. And then the discernment, we will send out throughout the month. We're gonna work on it and videotape it and send it to you as well. So you're not gonna miss anything. I feel like this particular topic is very popular, not my favorite, but definitely everyone is swimming in the deceptive world, and many people see right through it now, and maybe getting a little validated today will help us all on this journey that we are in as a humanity. So like before, we're going to go through our candle meditation to kind of settle in and arrive. And so I will ask Brandon to put the candle on the screen and take a deep breath and focus your gaze on this flame. Your eyes are the windows of your soul, and your soul is now seeing the light. And then bringing awareness to your own light within you. By acknowledging the light, your own light is growing and expanding and shining. Bringing awareness to your breath, to your inhales and exhales. Bring awareness to your chair or sofa you are sitting on. And ground yourself firmly in this present moment, as it is the present. Breathe and let go. Let go of distracting thoughts, things to do. Let go and see the light. We are completely surrounded by the pillar of light as we share our own light and love in today's class. And so it is. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to jump right in. So this whole series are based on the intuition, the language of the soul, and this class is no different. So we will talk about how we can take the intuitive world within us into the daily life and use it as kind of like, no different than driving and walking and talking, because it is our sixth sense, but it should be really our first. We talked about that in the previous classes. So I'm just going to remind you a few things, and I'm going to keep repeating it. So we are getting more and more aware of kind of like the feel of it. So again, discernment is the next class, but today it's the deception. So when we start with truth, right? Brandon, you have the explanation of the truth. And then truth is love. We talked about this before. It's really simple. It's the truth is love. Love is truth. Truth is simple. Truth is transparent. Truth needs no explanations, and truth not always feels good. But when you take it with open heart and you don't take it personally, it feels right. It maybe not feel good, but it feels right. Lies, on the other hand, lies are cloudy. They have many, many words, stories, and the stories are just excuses to explain things. It's complicated. It has so many levels of it. And they are heavy. And they are, again, once you know it, you know what truth is. Lies are really easily recognizable. Okay, so we have the truth and we have the lies. But deception, it's not a lie and isn't truth either. So it's kind of the web between those two. And that's why it's so hard for us to put it in some kind of a filing system, because this is what we are taught to do. It's like once you have it in some kind of a file in your brain, then you can put it there, and then you are in kind of a safety mode. However, deception keeps us kind of in confused mode. And that's why I felt like this class is very beneficial for people to realize that it's not as clear. So deception also depends on the level of perception. Okay. That means that, what does perception mean? Or perception means that when you go to a movie with a bunch of friends and you get out and you ask, hey, what's the moral of the story? Or what do you think of that movie? What's the thought behind it? Every single one of you will have a different idea. And that's exactly what it is. It's a different level of perception. And if we get again into that left brain filing, I was trying as much as possible to find the easy way for us to file things. I found 3 different ways how people use deception, for what reason, because it's always intention, right, behind deception. So the first one, it would be to avoid punishment, right? So that's really easy. Again, it's no truth. There's no lie. It's something between. The second one is to maintain relationships or benefit from the relationships, right? And so you can kind of dig back in your mind of maybe your story or your friend's stories of situations where that became, the life, that you stay in a relationship, not because it's love, it's because there's a benefits, but there's also not a hate either, right? So it's a tolerance and so on and so forth, but there's a deceptive understanding. And also we are a masters of deceiving ourselves and telling ourselves the truth, but it really isn't. So this, you could see there's so many levels of it. And the third one is to preserve and protect the ego, the mask. And when you're dealing with deception on a very, very high levels, when you have individual who is very influential, who is famous, who has a lot of pull in the system, that game of deception becomes very, very dangerous sometimes. So that's when we could go from the personal to like almost global, right? So we can see deception has a many different areas of our lives. And then I would like to talk about the word we spoke before about, and that's the evil. Evil is nothing more than opposite of live, L-I-V-E. So evil backwards is live. So what does this mean? If you have a very healthy, functioning individual and is self-sustainable, it's capable of getting energy from the source, from the heavens, from the universe, from God, whatever you want to call it. And also it's being fully supported from the earth. And so the energy is fully sustainable. There's no difference between the trees or plants or so on and so forth. So it does not need another human being or anything else to be completely self-sustainable. However, evil is something that needs a second, somebody else, something else to feel alive. What does that look like? Well, every single one of us has the ability to go direct to the source, but not everybody knows how to do that. So they go to the other person for the source of energy, and then the other person gets it directly. So you can also call these people vampires, narcissists, or whatever labels you want to put on them. And it's nothing more than labels. Okay. I don't really like labels, but if that helps you to put it in some kind of a category. So again, healthy, sustainable human being can go straight to the source, and it's supported by Earth. However, the person who doesn't know how to do that has to go through somebody else or something else. And that's what evil is, because it's not a life itself. It has to get some other way to get it. Okay, so that is the explanation of it. When I'm talking about that, that's where I'm relating to. So when we are dealing with that kind of an individual that needs the source of energy, doesn't know how to get it, or system, again, we're dealing right now as an individual, but if you have that in the beginning, you need a hook, right? Why would anybody give its own personal energy to someone else? That would be a fool. So that's why the evil plays games. And again, I'm making a light out of it because I don't want you to see it as it's some heavy, gloomy thing. We are all part of this game. Every single one of us been on one side or another. Our ancestors were on this. This program's running through us for 2,000 years. I'm just bringing a little bit more light of it. So that way we don't feel like she, he, they, none of that is my intention. I just trying to bring a light to potentially deep healing that is within every single one of us at this point. So when we play in this game of hooking or mating or dancing, it doesn't matter what you call it, we going through these stages. And so when that person arrives in your life, they have a many different levels, but I'm going to play around with words. They're extremely thoughtful. They are friendly. They're magnetic. They are fun, easy to talk to. And you just want to be around them because, they just bring in so much joy and they know exactly what you like. If you like to travel, they will take you on the trips. If you are more intellectual kind of a stimulation, they take you to different museums. If you're a social butterfly, they know all the parties and they know the bouncers, how to get you in there. And this is the way they kind of get you in. So you're turning off your sixth sense because you are so overstimulated your five senses, right? You will get so enchanted. It doesn't even dawn on you. Why are they doing that, right? Because again, this is not something you ever encountered before. So the second area they can hook you on is they have the perfect help. They know exactly how to help you. And they will say, let me help you. I have the perfect resource. I have the perfect person. And you say, no, thank you, I'm good. That's your first reaction because something doesn't feel right. But they are persistent and you eventually give in. So that is, again, the hook. And they will tell you the keyword, trust me. I assist you with your car. I'll take the bags for you. I will help you with your website, whatever that is. And that's the hook. They are in. They use, when you say to someone no, and they go anyway, it's kind of an energetic force. And it's kind of like, it's that kindness is there, but there's a force behind the kindness. It's very, very subtle. And eventually, when you are kind of hooked into that web, it creates confusion because now they are not wrong and they're not right. They're not black and they're not white. They're not bad and they're not good. They are just kind of like this, like we talked about. It's a very deceptive behavior all of a sudden because they give in gifts and they very kind, but at the same time, they have some kind of a remarks, right? So you start in wondering, like, what is off? Like something's changed. Maybe it's me. So when we go into the next level, the physical signs of it, of the deceptive manipulation, we start listening to our bodies, right? If Brandon, if you have that quote with the listening to your body when it whispers, so you won't have to hear it scream. I mean, this is so powerful. Just look at it, because our body will talk to us. It really, truly will. And it's very, very, very subtle. It's a whispers. But first it starts with uneasy feeling, anxious during the meetings or afterwards. When you drive home, you kind of have feeling off, like it's not like you feeling kind of almost like dirty, uneasy, like there's something like you want it out of your energy and you just don't know how to shake it off. You sleep, you've fallen asleep and your mind is racing with thoughts of uneasiness. You can't fall asleep, or you sleeping with nightmares. When you usually don't have that, and all of a sudden you feel it when you are around that person, pay attention. Gut feeling, of course, the pit in the stomach. Confusion. Oh my gosh. Confusion equals deception. Confusion equals deception. Suspicion. If you have any kind of suspicion, that's your intuition telling you, pay attention. There's something's off. Hesitation. Okay. You remember first sense, sixth sense, it's like you don't even think twice. It's like immediate. When you go into your head and you start hesitating, yeah, don't go there. Fear. Again, if you fear in anything at any point, that is also a sign. So we all been there, right? So then I get to the stage 2. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Because I'm going pretty fast with this. Brandon, does anybody have any question?
There was a good question that came in. Do you have any suggestions for getting your power back?
Yes, we're going to talk about this after. That's the next part. Right now we are swimming in polarized world. Okay, stage 2. So we are still getting into the, people getting your power away from you. So we need to recognize all of these games. We are now deeper into the relationships. It doesn't have to be necessarily a love relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be parents, children. It could be a business. It could be co-workers. And the closer the relationship to your heart, the harder for you to see it. So when you're starting with this kind of a awareness, you will first see these people that are not really matter. And once you clean that area of your life, you become more into your heart connections. This is when it get a little muddy. But again, the game is the same. So they start destroying things and they pretend it was an accident. And it's not just a cup that you drink in a cup of coffee. It could be anything. It could be the creative work of, on your website, or you had wrote a poem, or anything, just literally anything that you think it was nice, or picture, they spill water over it, or just any destructive behavior towards your creation. Okay. And it's always, oops, it's an accident. I didn't mean to. They are very secretive because they have much to hide. It's just who they are. It's not at this point, it's a program. It's not who they are. It's a program that's running through them. It's something that they have learned how to, again, remember, it's the source. They trying to, because they don't know, they never learn how to get directly to the source. They have to go through someone else. So they pretty much perfected the system, how to get it. Okay. So it's not necessarily personal. It really isn't. If you're not there, somebody else will step into the role. That's why when you're not taking it personally, you don't get that upset about it. So again, they are very much secretive because they potentially have a lot of people that they're getting energy from. You're not the only one. So they have a lot of mind games, a lot of lies, a lot of stories out there. And what I found is interesting is that they really truly believe their stories are true. So you can't really start telling them they're lying because they're not. It's their truth and they will defend it. So again, it's not a truth and it's not a lie. And we talk about this a little bit later. They don't really want other people to succeed. They are not happy for other people. And they say bad things behind people's back. And they hiding behind a huge moral character. Like they claim to be the one, the most thoughtful. They're the first one to bring cookies to the neighbors when they move in. They bring the flowers to the hostess. They have all the tricks of completely a great illusion. They will twist things around that you said or done when the story is told. So it's like, I told you so. What do you mean? You don't remember? And you never said it. So it's very hard because if you don't have a black and white, you are fighting invisible evil. So give it up. It's just pointless. But that's the game. And then you start questioning yourself. And that's when the confusion comes in. You start, oh, maybe I'm just losing my mind. I need to go and get some vitamins for just my brain because I'm losing my mind. No, you're not losing your mind. It's just your mind is being, a little confused by forces that being directed towards you. Like I said, they will create a confusion and they will try to discredit you and make fool of you. So if you are expert in any particular field, if you are good at something and some point, they will try to attack it. They will try to prove you wrong. They will try to compare to someone else who's better than you. So you don't feel so confident about yourself. And they are extremely good liars and cheaters. They are just masters of it. They pretending to be complete opposite, and they have the pretending games. They have a great show. Okay, again, they fool in the five senses, and as long as people are believing the five senses, they will win, because the sixth sense, which is the truth, is not being seen. When you go, let's just say that the people over here, right, that they don't really matter. When you see right through it and you let them go, they don't really sweat it. They find someone else. So that's how quickly you can be replaced once you see them. And of course, if you see them and you have some kind of a connection, they're going to try to discredit you. So you don't discredit them. They are very, like we talked about, they're very, very jealous, very, very envious, not happy at all for anyone, even their own children, by the way. But that's really fascinating. That's a completely another subject, but yes, not even for their own children. They get threatened by their own kids if they are already a parents. They are masters of deflection. Oh my gosh. So, you know, that old saying, one finger this way, three fingers the other way. That's so true. So anybody's pointing finger, always remember that three fingers goes the other direction. So when they pointing at someone or at you, it's them. It's them. Why? Because it's like this. If you have never cheated, it would never enter your mind. It's just not there. So if somebody says you are something you're not, you're like, what? Me? What? It's like you completely a surprise because it's not in your consciousness, right? But it's in theirs. So if anybody is accusing you of something, most likely it's because of them. And the people who are not, they are too busy creating. These beings who are completely self-sufficient, they are so busy creating for themselves. They don't have time with these silly mind games. So deflection, please recognize it. It's a big one. And if that's happening to you, don't waste your time try to make your name clean or try to defend yourself, you're wasting your energy. And honestly, they love your energy. It doesn't matter how you give it to them, they love it. It's like going back to the children, you know, it's like little Johnny says, Mommy, can I have a cookie? And you say, no. Why not? Because blah, 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 blah. And that energy you just give in to Johnny, that's all he wants. I mean, the cookie's great, but as long as you're talking to them, that's all they wanted. So those beings are no difference. That the people who are trying to get some kind of energy from you, they don't care what kind it is. If it's argumentative or it's loving, they will take it all because that's the energy. A lot of people call them, like I said, vampires, right? Say they need energy to feel alive. When people are in that kind of a deflective web, you will also see a pattern. When they start hooking you in, and you, let's say if you are a healer or you are empath and you really have an open heart, they will come in as victims. And the victim is a great hook because, you know, your heart is open and you always want to help people, right? So they will say that their exes are crazy and they are the alcoholics and that person was being mean and that relationship didn't work out because they were cheaters and they were like, it's always everyone else but them. That's another pattern. They have a pattern because, again, when you have a very healthy individual, they will take responsibility for the good and the bad, because that's what makes you powerful, because you are not afraid to say, you know what, I did it. Yep, that was me. I screwed up. But they will never do it. Okay. Because you remember, they're trying to save their face or their ego. And they are afraid of punishment. So again, they're running programs from probably a deep childhood issues, but that should concern you. Okay, you're not their therapist. So I'm just trying to give you these ideas to empower yourself back to your own power. When you are, again, if you are a healer, when you are one of those empaths and you get your heartstrings and you see it, recognize it. Because there's potentially something in you that you feel worthy because somebody recognizes you as, oh, they need me. Oh, I need to help them because that's the nice thing to do. Yes, to a certain level. You need to give people the fishing rods, not the fish. Okay, so that's the way to help people. It's not about licking their wounds. It's about here, just go and have it, you know, have a proper assistance. So, when you are staying longer with these kind of individuals, your emotions will cloud your intuition. Your emotions, your mental body, your emotional body is so cloudy, you cannot see straight. Your head is in a beehive and you're getting sting and you don't even know what's stinging you. And this is when you have to literally get yourself out of it to see clearly. They could be physically dangerous, but most likely they are emotionally and mentally abusing. So and that's really hard to detect, isn't it? Because they bring you back gifts or flowers or take you on the trip or whatever your weakness is. They will know exactly what it is. So that's kind of like the yo-yo, which I will talk about. They love to twist your words. They cause drama just because they're bored. So they will say, oh, this person said this and this about you, or they just push your buttons, some triggers to just get you going. They could care less if they fight with you. That's their platform. They love it. They're used to it. Why? Because majority of beings who do not know how to go to the source, they live out of those first 3 chakras. And the first 3 chakras is all about survival. Okay. So when you are trying to elevate yourself to some spiritual awareness and you are with a being with the 3 first chakras, it's very hard because they constantly drag you into survival mode. And if you're in it, you can't see clearly beyond that. When I was talking about the yo-yo, I don't relate to it, but there's epidemic of yo-yo relationships. And that's like the whole push and come back, and the makeup and break up. And I don't get it. It's like, once you break up, there's issues, there's something. Why don't you just analyze that? I'm not saying that's 100% the truth, but this whole yo-yo back and forth, it creates a confusion. Again, it's confusion, right? One thing about the truth, about people who are high with integrity and moral character, they're very consistent. Doesn't matter if you throw them against the wall, they will not change their moral character. They will stay the same. Doesn't matter if you break up with them, doesn't matter if you do whatever, they will not change. They will not hunt you down for some kind of revenge. But the other people will, just because they love the energy. It's very juicy. Remember, peace is very boring. So the drama is, everybody wants to know the drama, right? I mean, it still sells, still in the tabloids. So you have to remember, like, why is it? Why people cannot be just calm? Well, because again, it's just at this point of our evolution, people still resonate with the juice. One thing that I also see in my clients and even in my own personal journey is that people will try to take away your support system, which means your family, your friends, your colleagues, or anyone who could potentially be your ally, and will tell you another story that could not match up with theirs. Okay, so just pay attention, and they will have everything to say about your friends or your family. Oh my gosh, did you know that she cheated with this and that on you? And did you know that he said that? They have all the tricks to get you isolated. Once you isolated and you don't have support system, it's really easy to wobble you back and forth. So make sure that you always have a healthy support system around you. It doesn't matter who are you with, because it's just very healthy to have a healthy community, if it's family or friends. They will blame you for absolutely everything. It's always 100% of your fault. Just get used to that. It's kind of laughable. And hot potato. I love to use the hot potato because their aura is so much confusion. There's so many stories. There's so many lies. There's so much going on in their just psyche that they cannot handle anything more. So if anything's going on in their life, somebody blames them, or something happens to them, or they lose a job, or somebody's mad and they have it doesn't matter. It's a hot potato. When you're around, you're gonna get it one way or another. You're gonna get the beating. It's an argument. It's like you don't even know what hit you. You came home very happy, and all of a sudden you are part of an argument. You don't even know where it came from. That's a hot potato. And again, if you are a parent and you have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because children come home with a lot of hot potatoes. They don't know what to do with all the energies that they get dumped on constantly by their friends or the teachers, or just the energy of the stress that is around them. So when they come home with hot potatoes, you're the one getting it. And I know all you parents know exactly what I'm talking about. So, when it comes to a youngster, we need to be a little bit more compassionate, right? But the hot potatoes are definitely easy to, like, okay, here's the hot potato. And if, there's a time that you can hold the hot potato because you are stronger and you see it's not worth the fight. But when it comes over and over and over, like, you know what, I'm done with your hot potatoes. It's yours. So there's that whole give and take, because maybe you give the hot potatoes once in a while, but recognize that, hey, sorry about that. I just didn't know how else to handle it. Again, responsibility. The people with that program do not like responsibility, so they will never take the hot potatoes. They have also a very grandiose personality in many times, and they live double lives. So, they go out. Doesn't matter if it's a party or event or just grocery store, doesn't matter. They are thoughtful, they are generous, they loving, they kind, they helpful. Everybody loves them. They have the charisma, they the magnet, but that's not who they are once they get behind the closed doors. It's like completely black and white. And nobody sees that aspect of them. So you will literally like dealing with invisible again. Nobody could, because you cannot say, hey, did you see that? No, because it's done behind closed doors. So that's, again, another frustration. You kind of on your own. Nobody can validate how you really feel. So it's kind of a very lonely journey when you are dealing with energies like that. They very, very judgmental and very critical. So they will not give you like pure compliment. They won't. They will be a compliment with some kind of a jab. It's a nice blouse, but I don't really like the color on you. Or, oh, why did you get that car? Oh, okay. You know, like there's just like, oh, new car. Oh, like there's something about it. Like there's never just a true, authentic happiness for you. There's never just pure compliment. There's always some kind of an end of making you feel less than. Nothing is good enough. Okay, so that whole good enough program is, I think, running through many of us, if not all of us. So recognize it, because we talked about it before. There's not very many cheerleaders out there who could just say, great job, I love it, just keep going. Yeah, if you find that, you're very, very blessed. Many of people, when you are close to them, again, and it could be your girlfriends, could be, again, your spouses, they don't really care about how you feel. If you're sick, if you are tired, they can keep you sleep deprived or sick, and they won't get you aspirin, or if you're tired, they could still keep the TV on fully blast, you know, all night. They could care less. They keep conversation really loud to just keep you up. And it's not necessarily they do it on purpose. It's just what they do. They just completely clueless. Crying. I have a lot of male clients and victimized women who use a crying as literally it's a intimidation, like it's almost like a tool for manipulation. That's what it is. Tool for manipulation. I'm not saying every single crying is, but again, when you see it over and over, it kind of gets old, because women have archetypes that we can touch. So when they cry, especially men crumbles, right? I mean, especially if they've seen their mom or their siblings have been using this, it pulls on heartstrings. So when you have a really tough woman who chooses not to be the victim and chooses to be empowered, you won't see her cry. Again, not 100% of the time, but so don't give in to tears. Tears are okay, but clarity and focus is also very important. Crying is good. It opens up the heart chakra, but you have to see what is it happening? Why is it happening? Is it consistent with some kind of a behavior? You know, just see through it a little bit. So I have to say this because, you know, there's nobody really talk about that. I think I'm done with all these kind of examples, because I think all of us can relate to some of it, right? But deception often has to be experienced until it's recognized. So, you know, it's really hard to recognize deception until you're in it. But when you're in it, just recognize, okay, I'm done. I see it, and just go away. So once you see it, you will kind of slowly pinpoint it faster and faster and faster. And just have a compassion, because again, you're dealing with invisible evil. That's probably the most frustrating thing. It's not black and white. It's not something you can pinpoint. It's not a lie. It's not a truth. It's something between. It's not provable. So I'm going to go into the next couple labels, and then we go into something else. But any questions before I go into the further? Let's take a deep breath, because that's a lot.
Oh, that is a lot of good stuff too. We do have a question, and you mentioned kids a lot. Do you have any suggestions for protecting kids and teaching kids, or for how we can represent ourselves for our children so they don't fall into these traps?
Well, children just depends like how old, right? So first thing is to when you go into this protective, like these band-aids, they work, but they kind of go away because you constantly have to like revamp these band-aids. But the key, if your children are tiny or you thinking of becoming a parent, make the children know who they are. That's probably the strongest, most valuable lesson, not even lesson, a gift you can give your children. Know who they are so they never get into this deceptive at all, because they can see right through it. And they will learn that from you when you voice things when it's not right, because children are very, very intuitive. And we talked about that before, much more so than we are, because their veil is still very open, right? So when they tell you something, trust it. Don't even question it. If they tell you they don't want to go there, don't go there. That's how you strengthen their self-esteem, their intuition, and they will not be the punching bag for someone else, because these beings who try to get to the source, they will pick someone else and not necessarily your child. So if your children are already older, it would be beneficial to recognize it as it is. And just like I'm saying to you, talk about it and don't go into good, bad. Don't go into the polarized world. We will talk about it a little bit later. The tools are, there's, I would say don't go there to that environment in the first place. But if they keep going, like it's say school, focusing on what's in front of them, surround themselves with life energy, which is the sun, the plants. Yes, you can give them some crystals if they understand that concept, but more than anything, when they get out of school, connect them back to earth, creating back that energy. The aura has to be very strong, not just the physical body, but over here, that needs to be strong so that energy just bounce off of them. So that would be just a quick solution, but I will go to the solutions later on. So I'm going to go back with a little bit more labels, a little bit more of that polarized world. There's, the behavior, what I was showing, it's very obvious, right? It's like you can kind of spot it easily. However, then you have this, they call it the covert narcissist. And again, I don't like the labels, because you can say vampires, you could just say beings, you could just say behavior. But they kind of make you feel bad, and it's very difficult to spot. They run programs just through your emotions and thoughts. They're not even doing anything. They're using a lot of gaslighting, but they play with your emotions. They again twist your words and all that, but they often, let's see, let me just go here. They like to devour your energy. You're in a relationship and you're thinking you have a great one, again, if it's a girlfriend, a spouse or boss or whatever, and all of a sudden they become very secretive, they talk behind your back, they withholding something from you, they being too busy, they're not noticing. So it's kind of like, what do they call it? There's a saying, I forgot what it's called. On a cell phone, the children are using the name for it. They're also using their disabilities that they have. Like I like to say this: it takes a genius to be an idiot. So all of a sudden they become idiots. They can't do things before they can, but now they can. They can't hear you. They didn't hear you. They don't see it. What are you talking about? I don't see it. So all of that, that they playing such an idiots all of a sudden, it's because they're geniuses, because they make you to go and do it. Okay. So just recognize it. Some teenagers are expert in that, But again, if you call them on it, okay, nice try. No, just go do it. They also use as betrayal and trust. I would like to talk about this. If you get disappointed in a relationship, this is another level. It is touching your heart at this point. So the betrayal of trust goes deep into the disappointment, and it goes deep into the scars of your heart. Don't take it lightly. And disappointment is in the beginning of these relationships, very slight, very kind of almost like not a big deal, but recognize it right away. Remember, listen to the whispers so you don't have to hear the screams. Okay. I cannot stress this enough. If you get disappointed by someone on any levels, take it to the account. This is going to escalate. They are also harmful of doing nothing, because let's say that they are just quiet when you get into a attack, like somebody is attacking you for some reason, and they will do nothing. They will not stand up for you. That's what they would do. They would actually feel like, oh, this is great. They will leave the store or a restaurant and make you pay for it. And they just, they had to run out or whatever. So again, they're not doing anything. This is a big one. Let's just say you have a friends over and they enter the house. They won't say hello to your friends. They will literally act like they're not even worthy. So you wondered like, well, that's embarrassing, or why is he not saying hello to my friends? And then you feel kind of like shameful, right? Because this is your spouse or friend or mom or dad or whatever that is. So again, these kind of a little subtle behaviors are very alarming. And they never apologize if they harming you or hurting you or injuring you at all. So again, do not underestimate the disappointment. This is your first sign that you are dealing with deception. Well, maybe not a first sign, but it's a big sign. And chronic disappointment can create a really deep depression, shame, and all the lower vibrations that we will talk about next class. So I want you to recognize it, that, where were the disappointments in your life, where you have lost trust. This is big one. And know that deceptive behavior might be very willful, intentional, and deliberate. And people who are empaths or who are healers, they're having a very hard time with that. They don't believe it. They don't believe that this kind of a behavior is even like possible. So they, when you have these beings running these programs of destruction, they weaponize disappointment as deliberate. Like they want you to go through it. They want you to go through the heartaches because it brings you energetically down. And when you have all these feelings down, you're not sparkling anymore. You don't go with your head high and are creative. When you are constantly like trying to figure out who you are, where you're going, what to do, you're not in a creative, like a point. They're going to go somewhere else, or they just bring you down and spit you out and go to someone else who's more juicy. Once you're like, okay, good. I'm finally done with that relationship. So you start bringing yourself back up. You start reawakening your senses, and you're back, on the highway, and you're running high. And guess what? You get the phone call or text. Hey, what's up? Because you're juicy again. Okay. And so you're going through the yo-yo. See, this is just, they're very predictable, these programs. So just know that the power to this is in the subtle realms. The five senses will fool you. We talked about that last time. The sixth sense will not. So before I go to solution, these micro examples go to the global, to the big deceptive. programs that running through our educational system, through our media, through our health, through our judicial system. We all having these programs in every single area of our life. So once you learn how to see these in your personal life, you're going to be very sensitive to the others, and you will know when and how to enter them, if you want to even enter into them, because they are matrix. So anyway, Brendan, any questions before I go into the solution? Because we have like nine minutes or so, and we still want to do meditation.
Yeah, there's one question, and I was kind of relating to it. Oh, where did it go? Yeah, so they're asking, you know, are these people aware of what they're doing? And you know, you're talking, and sometimes I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh geez, is that me? Am I doing this too? You know, like, so.
Like I said, in some point in time, I believe we all have been running some programs to this level, you know, some we deceived ourselves. Sabotage is nothing more than deceptive program. I'm the queen of sabotaging in the past. Oh my gosh. So you're running some program, and you telling yourself some nonsense, and you start believing your own self, your own deceptive thoughts enter into you if you don't want to stand in your power. Okay, so when you understand that I brought you into very deep polarization, and I want you to get out of it, right? So I brought you in because there is a lot of healing to be done. But don't worry about if you did it, or if you not did it, who did it, how they did it. Just we have to go back up, and that's what I'm going to talk about, neutralize it. But yes, I believe, especially the really serious vampires, if you want to call them, or narcissists. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They really do. They really do. They're very good at that. And the better they are, the harder it is to see it, because they have system behind them. You know, they have allies, very powerful allies behind them. You know, if they are doctors, if they judges, if they movie stars, if they whatever, you know, like you could see how what at level. I mean, just see if, do you believe anything anymore when it comes to products? It's like, who's the spokesperson? Just follow the money, right? It's just kind of like, yes, there is a lot of times very willful reasoning why they're doing this. But you remember, the compassion comes in is that they want energy, and they don't know how to go directly, so they go through you. So it's not personal, because if you're not there, somebody else will replace you. That's how it's like, it's easier to kind of digest this and don't take it personally. When you take it personally, you're losing a lot of power. But some situations it's really, really difficult to leave, especially if it's your parent, your spouse, your child. I mean, I have seen any and all situation enwrapped with this, and it's not easy. I wouldn't call it easy. The closest to the heart, the deeper is the web, if that makes sense. And manipulation, again, a lot of manipulation with money or whatever. If it's not money, there's a heartstrings, you know, victimhood. So just, again, know yourself. And this is what we're going to talk about. So solution, awareness, 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 awareness. Acknowledge the big picture. Just go above it if you can. And I know your head is maybe in a beehive, trying to get out of it. Go spend 2 days somewhere else. Those 2 days, 3 days, somewhere else, you will have, it's almost like going to the penthouse and you live on the 3rd floor. You'll have a bird's eye view on the situation, and know yourself. Go back into, you know, that whole know yourself, which leads to, again, to that back intuition, going back into the language of your soul. You have to, once you kind of realize that we all have these kind of a situation happening to our life, or is happening, you have to allow the healing. You really do. And it takes time. So it's the first 3 chakras. You need to go back and you need to collect all the energy that you have lost. You have lost some part of you in these relationships, and you need to claim it back. And again, it's not personal, but it's yours. Get it back. it's through meditation. You don't have to knock on the door and have some heavy duty talk. Okay. It's all energetic. There's a beautiful meditations out there to collect your energy back into the soul, because fragments of you are somewhere in those situations. Let's see, and digest. You have to digest them, because they will come. The one thing I found is that once you digest one, another one will come in, and another one. So, you know, as the flashbacks will come in from your childhood, from your college times, or I don't know how old you are, but they will be flooding in to heal, to properly heal. The first 3 chakras have to completely heal, in an essence, to go into the heart chakra, where you finally open up to that whole unpolarized world, to that whole oneness, right? So in order for you go into your heart, you need to feel safe. You need to feel financially secure, and you know who you are. Those are the first 3 chakras. So before you start doing mantras and you go into a spiritual boot camps, become first very solid in your first 3 chakras. Become the powerful human being. Make sure your needs on the human level are met. Safe, secure, and know who you are. And find the people around you who will remind you how loving and kind and compassionate and talented you are. And if anybody says otherwise, let them go, at least at the time when you are healing. You do not need these kind of a programs running around you while you're trying to find your core essence of yourself. Let's see. Once you get kind of into your heart and you start feeling, trust me, you will feel a lot of hurt, a lot of disappointments, a lot of those things that we talked about. You're going to start feeling in your heart. Your heart will be almost like breaking and then healing again. And so I see this beautiful image when your heart was broken or is broken or will, you know, go through it, because a lot of people have their heart closed. Why? Because they have experienced so much disappointment. Their heart was broken so many times they don't even feel anything. But in order for you to fully embrace that spiritual aspect of yourself, you have to start feeling again. Once you start feeling, you can then go into that spiritual gym, you know, and I encourage you to do it anyway, but find the time for your spiritual practice and do not budge. Just like you go to the gym, physical gym, you need practice, like a spiritual gym. I'm sorry, physical gym, you need a spiritual gym. You need to find yourself 5 minutes and you get committed to it. If it's in the morning or in the evening or in the afternoon, lunchtime, and don't do half hour, that's too long. Just do 5 minutes. And just maybe have a book of prayers or just mantras or whatever you like to just ground yourself, or just a candle, just literally lighting up a candle and see the light. Remember, your eyes are the windows to your soul. So you see the light, you're reawakening the light within you. Another solution would be let go. Just let go. Just, it is whatever it is. So when you go through all this polarized world, nothing can touch you. Nobody can really touch your soul, only if you allow it. So just go back and just say, it is whatever it is. I'm fine. It is whatever it is. But also know that you need to be by yourself to detoxify your aura. So being with nature, go away for 2 days. It's very, very beneficial to get back into you. Who are you? Because everybody else is around you telling you who you are not or who you are. And you start believing it. Stop. Let's see. This. Okay. I think. Okay. I think we are done with the solutions, because I feel it's pretty simple. Empower yourself to be. However, I would like to, this is very quick, I would just like to kind of end with meditation that will integrate everything. Before we go, and I was saying that we will be running a little bit late, is there any questions? This is the time. Just don't worry about the time. If you have it, I would love to hear from you.
Like we have a question about, and I think we touched base on this a little bit in the last class, but how can you differentiate the teacher helper energy as opposed to somebody who's there to honestly help you, and then from somebody who's there to take advantage of you?
Very good question. It's very simple. When you go in somewhere for help, you should leave empowered, which means you have tools to keep you going. The person does not tell you you need coaching session for 6 months. They most likely will not ask you for follow-up. If you want to follow up, they will be open for it, but they will not encourage it. Because the key is to give you the fishing rod. Will they give you any and all tools for you to go on your journey? That's the difference. You're going to feel empowered versus you're going to feel victimized, or you're going to, because what I see in the sessions that people are attending is that they want you to feel like you need them. So they make you feel less than. But the true empowering session is not going to make you victim. It's not going to make you feel like a bad guy either. It is whatever it is. And you have to want to feel empowered. And if this person telling you the truth, you're not going to probably like it, because that truth becomes uncomfortable because it's ready to be changed. But if you are victimized and you feel as a victim, there's no power in victimization. It really isn't. There's time for it, trust me, but that's not the conversation we're having. There's a time for empowerment. Snap out of it. Let's go. This is what you do. It's neutralizing it, neutralizing it, neutralizing it. Steps to get you going. And it's almost like a spring, like you jump and then you spring forward versus holding hands. You don't need anybody to hold your hand. You need someone to be there if you need it, if you get stuck. So summarize, they should put you on a yellow brick road with many resources, as many as they can, in that whatever hour and a half they have with you. And then you keep going. And they should tell you, if you need anything, give me a call. You should be good for a while. And once you are off of that yellow brick road, then you potentially need to call them back. That's the difference versus you need 6 month sessions. I need to see you every week to keep this going. That's my humble opinion. Hopefully that helped.
But, do you have any quick tools for breaking the cycles, whether breaking the cycle in the habits that we know that we're doing ourselves that you're talking about, or with those relationships, like the spouses and the family, to kind of help neutralize?
If you want to see the change, you be the change. So when you start changing and you start realizing that with compassion and love, the people around you will not like it because you change in vibration. So just know that you're not going to have a supportive team. They are scared around you because you're changing. And when change happens, what does that mean? Is she going to leave? Is she going to act like this? And they're going to say, well, you acting weird. What's wrong with you? And all of these, this is actually good signs. Things are changing. It depends. If there would be a little bit more personal question, I would be more direct with that answer. But overall, if there's someone really loving and kind that you know deserves explanation, I would sit down and say something like, I don't like where I'm going with my life. I have to make some changes. I will be kind of in a tunnel for 2-3 months trying to figure things out. So don't take things personally. Don't take things that I am changing, but when I come out of the tunnel, I will still be here. So just let me be. I still love you. I'll be here. Okay, so that's one way. If it's happening more on a broader perspective of your friends, you could just send a text to everyone. I'm going to be off the social media. I'm not going to be responding to any of you. I love you all. I'll be back in 2-3 months when I figure things out. I'm going through my spiritual journey. You're going to hear from me. And so just from my own experience, the people who were the vampires, they did not like that. The true friends, they didn't even bother. Of course, take all the time in the world. I love you, all is well. So you can tell a lot. The people, once you get out of the tunnel and the people are still standing and waiting for you, those are the true people that you want to surround yourself with. The ones who kind of disappeared along the way, don't even bother going backwards. So you have to allow to go through a lot of grieving of relationships, situations, behaviors. All of the things have to change in order for you to change. Your palette will change, your music selection, your radio shows, your clothing, everything will change when you choose to change. And the change happens with the desire something different for yourself. The books you're reading will change, your friends, just overall. So that's how I would start, is that don't point fingers. And don't say, oh my God, that bothers me. That's because you are the narcissist. No. Don't, please don't even go there. Okay, that's not about that. It's you, because you had allowed the tangle. It takes two to tango. So you allow that dance to happen. Once you stop dancing, that person will go away, find somebody else to tangle with, or will stay along and change. So be open to any and all circumstances. Good. Anything else? I can't hear you.
Thank you, Lenka. Yeah, sorry. No, thank you. I did want to take the time to remind everybody about our next, about the alchemy of consciousness, and that we will, I think, continue this class, and we'll email a newsletter when it's ready for them to view.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's going to be May 25th, and it's going to call the alchemy of consciousness, and it will be a lot of tools helping with this situation as well. So if you guys are have to go, I totally understand. If not, I have the final integrative meditation. It takes only a couple minutes. If you can just put the candle back on and take a deep breath, allow to enter into your heart, and exhale all that is not needed any longer. Inhale and exhale. Your breath will assist you with your relaxation of your mind, letting go of the tension, letting go of all the stories. And you are now able to open your heart to feel and surrender. And surrender to the realization that we are all one. We are all one. And the oneness sits in the field of love. When you are able to enter into the state of mind, you will experience true freedom. You enter into freedom to choose your feelings, choose your thoughts, and your experiences. You are the creator of your experiences. You are the creator of your feelings and thoughts. And the question is, what do you choose? I choose peace. I choose love. I choose joy. Whatever arises in your mind, regardless of your physical eyes showing you, what your ears are hearing, regardless of all of that, you are free to let go and come back to life as love remains untouched. This easy formula is not to be designed to be passive. It is simply showing you you can go of striving. You can let go of doing and chasing. All you need to do is to allow things to rise up and let it go. Allowing is turning within. despite what is happening around you. And ask yourself the question, what do you choose? You are committed to seek the truth. Truth sits in love, love that is expansive and filled with endless creative energy. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you guys all. It's such a pleasure to connect with all of you. I'm looking forward to the next one. And we would love to hear your feedback. If there's anything you want to have any answers, email us directly, email me directly. We do not have the Facebook anymore. We're actually getting out of that social media completely. We will be looking for other platforms. We'll keep you posted, but the emails are open and we would love to hear from you. So thank you again. For next time.